Welcome to the video. My name is Abby, and today specifically, this video is for anybody who is doubting how in the world that their life can change or maybe has fear on how they can do it. If you've been struggling to understand how you can believe something before it shows up in your outside world and how you can make those internal shifts, this video is for you. The idea for this entire video is coming from the quote from Neville Goddard, and that quote is, "Out of mind, out of sight." Now, originally, this is more about how to remove or get rid of circumstances you don't want in your life, but I'm going to use this a little bit differently and to help you understand why you're not currently seeing or perceiving of the things you want to. So if you watch into the end of this video, my intention is to empower you to start understanding where you can make the shifts to start believing it before you see it. So let's get started. The big thing here is to understand, you got to get this. Manifestation is not some magical thing that comes from the outside and affects you inside. Manifestation means revealing what is inside on the outside. So making animated whatever it is you believe to be true, and this can go from Neville Goddard, right? The law of assumption. Whatever you give permission, an idea you give permission or consent for it to be true, that is what you're going to see. So in today's video, I really want to get down to the idea that Neville said, out of mind. What is that mind? Because so often people start thinking, oh, I'm going to keep it in my mind. If I have it in my mind, I will see it with my eye. You have to understand that you have perceptional biases. You have filters. I have filters. Every human being does. Heavily based on staying safe or what is acceptable. That has heavily been implemented or programmed or conditioned from your childhood, your early on experiences. That is not to say you are stuck there, but if you're not aware of something, it is going to have an influence in your life that you're not aware of, you're not conscious of. So basically blocking out different things in your outside world, and then you'll continue to recreate or continue to stay in the same realm that you've known. So out of mind, out of sight, what mind is he talking about? It's not your current level of conscious awareness. It is going to be your unconscious. It is going to be your belief system, even the ones you might not be aware of. And you can always use your outside world to dig deeper into what are those unconscious beliefs. And actually in the description box below, I have a worksheet that's totally free that can help you start to becoming more aware of what your unconscious beliefs are. Now I want to draw some stuff out to help give you a better idea of how in the world you can believe something before you can see it, before you have any experience of it. So let me draw this out. So right now, this is basically what is creating your outside world. And I'm gonna put a line here because this is everything happening outside of you, your outside circumstances. So right now, you might be experiencing a lot of lack. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's emotional and financial. No matter what you do, you're trying to make these shifts, you watch videos, you try to implement them, and maybe there's a little bit of change and then it goes back to what it was. Or maybe there's no change at all, and it can be very disheartening and very frustrating. I understand that because so much of my life I did the same thing. That's how I started on YouTube, is by watching YouTube videos. So what I was experiencing is trying different things and looking to the outside for the proof or for the evidence, so I'd feel different in my inside world. Well, what was fueling the outside to continue to happen was my beliefs about myself, about how others had treated me, about what my worth was. And really what kept fueling that was old stories, an old situation, an experience that I had gone through, and there's tons of them. You have tons of them, I have tons of them. That isn't to say you have to go revisit every one, but all of those are telling like the same story, your same perspective, what the end worth or your value, how you're supposed to be treated, right? This story created an assumption or a belief about yourself. And those beliefs are getting animated, they're getting reflected back to you in your outside world. Your conscious mind, out of sight, you have to start being aware of this, your beliefs. That level of mind is what you're going to see from. So if you notice that the sight did not start in the outside world. The sight, the belief shift, so this is the inner world. Starting to see your inner world based on the belief or assumption is how you're actually going to change it. So changing your mind is what's going to change your sight. Okay, and you're like, well, that sounds like a really great idea, Abby. I've been trying, so how the hell am I supposed to do that now? Well, first realize that your outside is not how it's going to happen. So using this quote, originally it was out of mind, out of sight. If it's not in your mind, you're not going to find it out here. That means if it is here, you're going to see it out here. Okay, I just wanted to reiterate that. What do? How can you change it? Well, it's safe to say that you want a new outside situation, right? So this is the old outside, and you want a new one. Great. You want to see something. You want to believe that this is possible. If you can accept that this only changes because of what's going on in your inner world, that means you're going to have to change your inner mind, right? So again, we know that we're going to have a new belief in order to have that new reflection. How in the world can you create this new belief from this old one, right? How do you make this shift? Well, the thing that it's all hinging on is this old story. In my opinion, it's not gaslighting ourselves and saying this never happened or saying that we had an entire different experience. If that works for you, that's great. It never worked for me. I had to actually change the way I saw myself in that old story. I basically had a different perspective of why that happened. So part of my old story was emotional consistency. There were things that would happen with my immediate family, and I thought at the time that I had done something. I had done something to cause the disconnection. So what did that do? That created a belief that I have to work for connection, and that created situations that I saw that I had to earn it, I had to prove it, I had to be a hero, and so on and so on and so on. So the only way that I started seeing a new one, which is emotional consistency, which is emotional availability, and also shifted my dynamic with money, the only thing that shifted that was this shift. But it was about seeing this old story, this old experience, this old memory in a new way, meaning, whoa, I thought I had done something. Oh, I never did anything. People around me at the time were going through a lot. They were not able to show up in the way that I needed. And my misunderstanding of myself in that situation created this. But when I saw myself in a new way, my worth shifted simply by re-reasoning, re-seeing this in a new way. What did that do? It created a new mind for myself. I created a new identity. I created a new self-concept. Because this was a misunderstanding based on a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old little mind. So as I started to see that in my mind, in my sight. So if you're looking for this new shift, realize that you're going to have a new belief. That's the new lens. The new mind is going to give you an ability to see new in the world. Because right now, your perceptional biases, your filters, which are trying to keep you safe, are outdated. So they filter out anything else other than what is in alignment with this. Okay, that means your senses, your eyes, your nose, your ears, you're not able to pick up on anything in this realm because it goes against this. So to bring this back together, if right now you're struggling, how in the world can I believe something that I haven't experienced? Well, let's go back to the belief system. What story is keeping this belief alive? And if you shift the way you see the old story, shift why that happened, you literally can completely dissolve an old belief. Oh, wow, I actually never did anything. The people around me had a lot of stuff going on. And you know what? It's unfortunate because I had needs that weren't met and it wasn't about my worth. Holy, wait a second. If it wasn't about my worth, that means I'm worthy. If I'm worthy, that means I'm able then to receive what's in alignment as I see myself, as my mind updates. Now I'm starting to believe it before I see it, because this is the only way it works. You will always feel it, see it inside you, in your mind's eye, before your senses perceive of it, because your senses are looking for what is in here. And what is in here is being fueled by all those experiences early on and the meaning you still give yourself. So as you start to say, well, that kept me safe then. I'm thankful for those belief systems. They kept me safe. They kept me alive. And they were pivotal to get me here. I can say thank you so much. I love you forever. I appreciate you. And we need to part now, because you're an anchor that's holding me at this level of realm it keeps getting me things that create suffering. And as I realize I can let go of them and do a lot of inner stuff, and when I do this, I can actually then perceive. So the only way to see it with my eye is to shift my internal mind, which is to say to shift your self-concept, to shift your self-image. When you do that, you actually create your ability to find it in your outside world. You can think about Dr. Joe, electromagnetic signature is going to change. So what you're connecting to, what you're calibrating with, is actually going to be in alignment with really your desires from your conscious mind. So again, if right now you're struggling because your outside world is not what you want, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of struggling, start to think about those early on experiences and the meaning you've given yourself or the people told you were. If you can shift the way you see this, wow, the people around me didn't have the emotional maturity I needed. I wasn't the one lacking in that situation. They were doing the best they could, and that wasn't what I needed. It fell short. I actually deserve and am worth more. Whoa, okay. That can literally start to just dissolve this subconscious idea and create space for something new to come up. When something new comes up, you're actually literally physically able to perceive and see in your outside world. It never starts with seeing and believing. It starts with believing because you're creating all this space and re-reasoning and seeing that old memory and experience in a different way. And then that is what it gives you the ability to see your current world in a new way, which you'll be shocked at how new experiences come up because you actually are able to perceive of them. Understanding how your inner mind works and how to change it is so pivotal in starting to see the changes that you want to see. This next video here is going to help give you a better idea on how to let go of those old beliefs so that you can raise your vibration and be in alignment with that which you're wanting to experience. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.